Let's talk about it.
Hello everybody, we are here with Let's Talk About It to go over our Community Day adventures. And so today is all about the community. Everything we're doing is for the people. For our community. We have free food, music, games, raffles. We have put together gift baskets that are just ready for Thanksgiving, and it is all about the community, and we're here to serve.
My God, get your hands up, get your hands up, get your hands up. I'm into praising my God. I'm into praising my God. Hey, hey.
Cooking, free food, free clothes. That's what we do. We feed our people. You know, our church is proud of that. That's what we stand for. So we just glad to have our service to provide for our people, our community.
So what made you want to start the Remnant Life and have a heart for the community, especially with an awesome woman of God, with First Lady? And just talk about your vision and your heart.
We started the ministry actually about, it'll be 10 years on February on Valentine's Day. We believe God is love, and we've been through a lot in our lives independently, and we wanted to make sure we started our church, and it happened to be Valentine's Day, happened to be on a Sunday. So we're able to have our first service that Sunday. I come from the streets, grew up with a lot of stuff, been in a lot of stuff. I was in the U.S. Navy for a while, got out, went through some horrific times, and as I was going through my challenges in life, as God was calling me, I met this beautiful woman as we were singing on a praise team together at a church, and we ended up just fellowshipping and talking, and then we ended up getting set up on a blind date. We got on a blind date, and we ended up dating, and we got married, and in the midst of that process, she knew God had called me to pastor, and the funny thing about it, she tried to keep me from pastoring. She had, I told her, I said, God's called me to pastor. She told me that when I was a young man. And she was setting me up speaking engagements all over the continental USA. I'm getting calls. I'm like, man, I got this speaking engagement. And all of a sudden I called this one church. I said, yeah, so how do you get my information? I said, oh, your wife sent it to us, told us that you evangelized it. And I said, okay, no, we got to shut it down. And so we talked and went through it. Remnant of Life, we founded this church based on the clothe, feed, and house all of God's people spiritually and naturally. I truly believe it's easy to hear about Jesus Christ on a full stomach. It's easy to hear about Jesus Christ when you got shelter. And it's easier for me to talk to you about Jesus Christ when you got clothing on your back, the basic necessities of life. So our goal is to love everybody equally. Our slogan is we're left over but never left out, and that's where the name Remnant comes from. So that's how we started the ministry. That's what we're about. We're impacting Moreno Valley because I grew up out here when I was stationed in Long Beach. I used to roll out here in Moreno Valley before Christ, and it did a whole lot of dirt right in this area. Actually, in this complex used to be where I would get my hair cut. I played my dominoes. I would go to Mel's liquor store. I don't mind. Give a shout out to Mel, Steve, and them over there. Used to get all my Hennessy, all my drinks. A street next door, 3 houses down. I used to buy my weed and do all my dirt. And little did I know that God would send me back to the exact place where I did my dirt in the world to now clean up the mess that I created. And I thank God for that opportunity, and that's what we're doing.
I hope you do the same thing.
She's on the block in the low lows and candy. Kids going off cause they don't know they daddy. Girls half nigga cause they really need a friend. I'm seeing all the mess, so I guess I'm going in. Young new version, cutting like a surgeon. Riding shotgun with a man born of a virgin. Feeling we the best cause I know the West merging. Life unlimited, yes I'm splurging. I'm going in.
And so we have our First Lady, our beautiful First Lady of the Remnant Life Worship Center here. And just tell us a little bit about the community, for the kids, the women, and all the things that you do for your church and what inspired you.
I'm so excited because earlier we were stating how we desire to feed, clothe, and house, but the main thing is when you draw the children, you also are able to draw some of the parents too. And so sometimes we kind of stray away and not feel like the kids are important too. They are our generation. They're not next, they're now. So what we have on today with our community outreach, we have all of our kids and we want them to know that they're loved. There's jumpers, we have bowling, We have face painting and so many things that even allows them to feel like, you know, we do care, even in the community, because sometimes they don't, they're so unfortunate, but they don't have these opportunities to be able to reach and not just wait for a carnival, but they can come right here in their own city where we're just reaching our children, we're reaching their community, all ages. I also have, we have our Sisters of Substance. What that is, every other month we reach some of the women in our church, outside of our church, friends, family, from work, wherever. And what we do, we impart into the women. We allow them to know that no matter what they've dealt with, no matter what you faced in life, it doesn't matter, that God still loves you and He can still use that, what you dealt with. No matter what we have faced in life, there's always a reason to realize that what I went through, it wasn't about me, but it was to help and to impact other women. So we just impart into some of the ladies and let them know that they are valued. We just had a retreat to detox, to know what God's destiny is for your life. And detoxing is to release everything that tried to hurt, tried to ruin, and tried to stop you from being all that you are, because we are beautiful and we are wonderfully made. And so we're just excited about what we're doing here at Remnant of Life. We have so many things that we are reaching to do. We feed the hungry on Wednesdays, and we're just excited about doing outreach, because that's what it's all about. Even though we're here on Sundays, we're doing things outside of the four walls on Sundays. That's what's important.
All right, and I can attest to that, because the lines are long on Wednesdays and people are hungry, and you guys are always open to help feed.
Yes.
And I was personally at the last retreat with the women.
Yes.
A blessing. It was a mental detox, a spiritual detox, a physical detox. You know, I'm
love
blessed to be
it.
a part of ministry.
I love it because sometimes as women, we become so distant, and I don't believe in women not complimenting. It is important for us to compliment, because it encourages. Sometimes you don't get a hug. Sometimes you don't get to hear how beautiful you are, because the Bible says that we're beautiful and we're wonderfully made. And so as women, as we can connect and as we can come together as one body, we're many members, but one body. As sisters, when you say the word sisters, you think of a bond. And so that's what we do, and that's what we did at the retreat. We bonded, we released some things, and we let it go, and we became as one.
I fell in love because I wanted more. Welcome to this nightmare. I had a dream you were right here. Then I woke up to this night here. I don't cuss, but I swear, if someone else asks me if I'm okay, like Annie, are you okay? Billy Jean on it. Switch the team, so I had to put the lean on him. Cause I'm down big in the night sky. Oh, that he's a Christian Jesus Christ guy. You have no idea what my life like. Anxiety took my lifeline. Unplugged the power so my light died. Once she broke my heart, yes, I cried. Because I love her more than this life. But with every sacrifice, I am like Christ.
All right, so we have Mr. Rodell on the hair right now.
Correction. Wardell.
Wardell. Well, let's correct it, sir. So what made you want to do this whole event? And tell us a little bit about your craft and what you do.
Well, I go to the Remnant Life Worship Center, where our mission is to close house and feed. Just doing this today was basically something to give back to the community, to the people who are less fortunate, do something great for our community.
Okay. And how long have you been doing hair?
Collectively about 4 years in the shop. Just cutting period, about 8 years.
That's a blessing. Most certainly. And can you introduce us to the other craft?
Okay, so we got Lil Mama. And we got Big Daddy. Big Daddy with the braids. Big Daddy. And Big Daddy with the braids.
You a fool. You a fool. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
My barbershop that I cut out of is Final Touch Barbershop. And your barbershop?
The latest barbershop.
All right now.
And Marcus is Inspiring Barber. He just over there just messing people up right now. But he messing them up so good that people coming back to him. They just getting in his chair. So he's doing a great job.
That's some great technique right there.
Appreciate that.
All right now.
So much you don't know, it's my own pride. Thought I'd let you know on my own time. Now I feel like I can speak about all of these issues. bottled up anger in my heart, and it continues. Chronicle all of the thoughts in my brain just to distribute. So you can learn from my mistakes and all of my miscues. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. Christian rap isn't Christian rap. We are just misused. Call it what it is hit and miss. Cause of politics, ain't no truth in this. I'm just doing church just for kids. I'm just trying to live for the kingdom. But somewhere on this journey, I got a little lost. Suicidal thoughts, forgot how much it cost. When he was on the cross, looking back inside him, I just turned the soul. Blamed it on the culture, pointed out to others, it is just my fault. I've been feeling pressure for a long time. Thoughts of suicide, fill my own mind. So much you don't know, it's my own pride. Thought I'd let you know on my own time.
And so we're just outside with the community. We saw the haircuts, we saw the free food, we saw the clothes, we saw the children's area. And so now we're going to go in a place of worship, where the heart of the church is at. So we have Pastor and First Lady here just to give us an overview of what it is like on a typical Sunday and Wednesday, and what you do throughout the sanctuary, and how you reach the people from the pulpit.
The goal of the ministry is when people come in, we want it inviting. So in the front, we just came through the foyer. It kind of shows a presence. We have people at our welcome table to just say welcome to Remnant and things of that nature. When they enter into the sanctuary, our ushers and deacons are positioned to love on everyone, to allow them to sit, get them seated, get them comfortable. The environment is a little more lighted down a little bit to allow it to feel warm and inviting. And we go around and we just greet each other, love on each other, and then we just get positioned as we go through. We keep having up on the stage is where our podium is. We have our music department on the left. We have special lighting in the house that just kind of sets a different atmosphere, I guess I should say. And it's a great place to worship, freely worship. And I love our sanctuary. When we first came in, this sanctuary looked nothing like this. This floor wasn't like this. Didn't have carpet. It wasn't painted like this. When I say we truly transform with the help of all of God's people's donations, time, and resources, that we transform this place into what I believe to be one of the most beautiful sanctuaries to worship in. And this is just a start for what Remnant's doing. I would say within the next year and a half, 2 years, this won't be where we'll have our worship center, because we need room. Effective March, the first Sunday of March, which is March the 1st of 2020, we will be going to 2 services because we're overflowing now to where people are standing room only. And it's in a great way because we're reaching with the gospel of Jesus Christ.
And so we want to go around and just give us a tour about the church.
Okay, when you come into the church, we have cameras that are set up in various locations to try to give. A lot of people don't make it to church. A lot of people have physically come to a church and they don't feel warm or invited for whatever reason, whatever the past history was. So we definitely use technology as far as social media, Facebook Live, and we have 4 different camera angles actually that are able to give different angles because you want to allow people to see. I know the Bible says we walk by faith and not by sight, but when you're reaching the lost with the gospel of Jesus Christ, they need to see something. And so we want to make sure we're giving them a professional, a picture of excellence, because we serve an excellent God. And so we give the different angles. And as we flow through the sanctuary, what you'll notice is we have our sound booth here. This is where our technicians, our sound techs are. This is where they're adjusting the sound. This is where they control our lighting that we have throughout the sanctuary. A lot of times they come through, and this is where they come through and people sit here and we invite them and we welcome them. And like I said, the place is just a full welcome center. And so I thank God for it. And then when we just go down, if we would just go down the aisle here, we're basically going down to the sanctuary, to actually what we call the altar, or the pulpit, as we say from a biblical standpoint. The podium is usually here, but because of our community today, we're using it for other resources, so we're using the sanctuary for other things. But I preach from here, First Lady preaches from here, our ministers and elders, they preach from here, and this is where we try to share the gospel of Jesus Christ to everyone in attendance. And if you look on that side, that's our sound booth. This is where our media guys are, our music guys are, our drummers, our keyboardists, our bongo player. I mean, everything. And they really gel together with a great sound. Our praise and worship team as well. And as you notice, we have the 2 televisions on the wall. That's actually where we show live words so people can sing along. The purpose of worship for us at Remnant of Life is for everybody to get involved. So we give them the words so that way they can sing along and sing praises unto God as well. And that's basically what our sanctuary is. Over here we have, we just had a play here what was the First Lady? Maybe last weekend we had a actual play that we had here, and we used that as a staging room where the artists would come up on stage or the actors would come up from there. So we utilized the resources we have to be able to facilitate any activity that we feel is God-led and God-inspired, and that would share the love of God to all His people.
And that's a huge blessing, because this is my church home as well. And I love the atmosphere. I love the word. I told you last week, everything you said was on point, from the ashy elbows to the scripture you was reading, everything you said. And I know you guys are a people that have the heart of the community and a heart of God. And I see that even through your own donations for the church and the things that you buy for the church. And I love that about what you guys are doing for the church.
Yeah, I try to be careful not to down any other ministry, but I know the heart of what Remnant of Life is about, and I know for a fact our goal is really people. I believe everybody has something that they're going through, and if they're not going through, they're going to go through. And we have to be positioned as a people to assist and to help, because you never know when your time's going to come where you need assistance, where you need support. And it's not about color, it's not about race, it's not about background, it's not about what your struggles are right now. At the end of the day, we all got something we're working on. And if we work on it together and love each other through it and help the needs of humanity, then I think we just have a better place, and I believe God is exalted and God is glorified in all things. So I tell people all the time, as the overseer, don't do what I say, do as I do. I work out here with everybody else. I painted in here, I did floor, and I do it all too. At the end of the day, just because I have a pastor title, that's my title, but that's my calling. But at the end of the day, I'm a servant as well, and I need to be able to get my hands dirty and do the work as well, and that's what we do. One body, but many members, right? So that's what we're about.
No level to you, bass and treble. Make it slap crystal clear, never come subtle. Rip clone, why they looking at you sideways? I don't even care, it's God over everything. Go, welcome to the New West, we honorable. Oh, we know when we go represent. Why they dying for the hood, baby, burning their presidents? We swinging on your radio, homie, begging the residents. This is Kingdom Excellence, Clone Productions. What's Christ life for nothing? Glory to God. See, that's what we about. No making shit, no glory for the Christ shows. Move slow. Cause when you move fast, it's like the wind and the one thing of skin. Summer, all the reality from the artist. You gotta get to it from minutes. Where do we begin? Rewind. They gotta do with me yet, cause I'm still and I'm feeling brand new, just like I got a new haircut. It's a new, feeling like a new kid in a new town. Yeah, if you feel it, sing it with me.
Until now, we have Miss Erica, our Miss Plus Temecula, here at the Remnant Life Worship Center. And just tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into pageants? Why are you here on Community Day? Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, I started with pageants this year. This is my first pageant, and I took the place of Miss Temecula Plus. Okay. And I love it. It's really women building up other women, and being able to have a platform because we're the face. So now people will be able to want to listen to me because I have a crown and sash. So it gives me an opportunity to bring up awareness for women who have been trafficked, human trafficked, and sex trafficked.
Oh wow, that's a blessing.
Yeah.
When I'm serving with the news, okay, time to ride. I do whatever he say. Holy fire, chopper style, let that he swear. I'm just a vessel, so fill me up, you pour me all out, so the world can see your love. So you want to give them light, and that more abundantly. Deliverance and kinship, purpose and identity. No pun intended, no this is no joke. Shots fired, let the dust settle, gun smoke. It's time to let loose your authority and power on this earth. Nothing means more to me.
Tell me when to go, we gon' run up, about what we be talking about. We gon' lift the sun up, ain't no time no ways. So what's the hold up? Today's your day, choose life, call it run up. Never felt this right, to be this used. Pull up to the function, we gon' spread this news. Never felt this right, to be this used. Pull up to the function, we gon' spread this news.
We just had our amazing interview with Mr. Clinton, and now we have our AP.
Hey, AP, Gil Gatsby. It's my wife, T.N. White.
Hi, T.N. White.
And so tell us a little bit about why you got started with the ministry and what's driving the force, you know, between the Community Day and your rapping and the music, and just tell us a little bit.
I connected with Pastor Kendall, about 17, 18 years ago. And since then, it's always been a connection that we had, like-minded in vision. He wanted to do something great in the community. This is the third annual one. Me and my wife, we saw what was going on and said, we got to be a part of it, giving back to the less fortunate, giving back to families in need, just good fellowship, offering Jesus in a unique way. How could I not be a part of that?
Most certainly. And tell us a little bit about yourself, about Community Day, and what's the driving force about being part of the ministry.
Yeah, of course. Community Day is something that is bigger than I even realized it when they first started talking about it. What's great about Community Day is it's not just for the people who are homeless. It's also for people who have homes who are in need, because sometimes we forget that just because somebody has a roof over their head, that they still need food, that their kids need clothes. So we're here for anyone in need. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, and that's just something I'm glad to be a part of.
Most definitely. And I know you have an album that just dropped, right?
Oh yeah,
So
Sunday
give us some
Shoes.
insight. What's up?
So yeah, I just dropped Sunday Shoes on July 30th. Prior to that was insert title here. Today I'll be doing a couple of songs for the Community Day Winner's Anthem. I think it's very fitting for today's event, which basically means no matter what you're going through in life, you can still win, you can still succeed, and in all things you're blessed. So I think that's gonna really rock the people, and they're gonna have some fun today. So we're going in.
All right. And so, so where can we get your music? Tell us a little bit about that.
I got you. So you can go to Spotify, Apple, Tidal, iTunes, YouTube, wherever you want to go. Google me. Instagram, Facebook. Just put in GILGATSBY. I'm sure to pop up. Bless your family, bless your grandma, bless your auntie, anybody. That's good music.
I heard that. And
that's the reason me for sure. See, I ain't talking, I don't believe him, looking pitiful. Make them up all the soldiers, the time is getting critical. Time to get greasy, I'm out the pain, I do invisible. Play your position, headed, but feel like bad ridiculous. Yeah, we got it, we rock it, we roll it. I represent the people who can't straight about the bottom. Now tell them, keep watching, we rock it, we roll it. Time to level up, you know I got him. Lead him to the plug, that's it. That's it. Lead him to the plug, dog. That's Let's go. That's it. Lead him for the plug, dog. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Amen. Remnant of Life Worship Center on Monday. We have noonday prayer here in our sanctuary starting at 12 noon. Wednesday nights we have our feeding program from our Pleasure Hospitality Department, 6 p.m. In our Community Youth Center, we give away free food to over 30 to 40 families every Wednesday night. 7 p.m. sharp, we start our Bible study. We call it Impact Bible Study. It's a free open Bible study. The youth and young adults have their actual own Bible study next door. So they start their own praise and worship, and then they have their session. And in the adult class, Bible study is interactive. You get to ask questions. The goal is that you don't leave out with questions not answered, and we all leave out with the same understanding. Then different times during the week, Thursday night, we have choir rehearsal at 7 p.m. here in our sanctuary. Friday night, we may have something going on from our 3:30 lounge to our Sisters of Substance, women's department gatherings, to our men's department, CIA, whatever it may be. It'll be calendar and it'll be notifications of it. And the same thing on Saturdays. Sundays, we have our morning worship experience, which is 10 a.m. sharp in the sanctuary. And we just have a great time here at Remnant of Life.
So we have my beautiful mother here. Hi. So she is a woman of many talents, but tell us why you came out today. What's your driving force? I know you were working with the kids in the back.
Yes.
So tell us how that went.
Working with the kids, it was fun. It was good. It was just awesome to see a smile on their face and how they're just having so much fun, free fun at that. So it was just good just to bring them in. And some of these kids never had their face painted, so the face painting was fun, and jumping in the jumper was fun. So they were really out there enjoying themselves.
And as I said, you're a woman of multiple talents. You do Zumba classes. You wrote a book. You're very, intuitive with helping women and encouragement. Tell us a little bit about your book and what it stands for.
I wrote a book called Never Alone. It speaks on issues that we as women that has dealt with. But the good part about it was this book, it took over 10 years to put together because God was working on me to get me positioned to write this book. And it's called Never Alone. And it deals with some of the things that child molestation, rape, loss of a family member. It just goes so much into Christian women dating men that are non-believers, and in the end of each story, God comes in, He intervenes, and He delivers them.
All right, and so I'm working on you to get your book back out there because I remember as a child, we went to Mexico and you had the book translated in Spanish, and you had a translator the entire time going back and forth, and women was getting their breakthrough and everything. Right. And we went a little bit past Tijuana, was it?
Yes, Tijuana.
And you did a tremendous work. Like people were just crying and feeling break free.
Yeah.
And so I'm working on you to get back out there, get your book on an ebook. And then I said, of course, I'll help you with the marketing and help her get a Facebook page and help her do all the sassy stuff. I literally said, you ain't gotta do nothing, just show up.
Right.
So we gonna have to tune in with Mom and get back on the ball with it, right?
Yes.
So when do you want to start?
I want to. Okay, that's a good one. First of all, I just want to take the time to just say, first of all, I know this is about me, but I just got to give you your props, Deja. You are such a tremendous person. You add so much, and I look at you, and I keep telling you over and over again how I'm inspired by you. At your age, I've already had 3 kids, single parent, but I'm looking at you and I'm like, you are doing the thing. I ain't want to say the thing, but you're doing it, you're making it happen, and you are such an inspiration to a lot of young girls out there that can make it happen themselves as well. Going to college, graduating, and everything like that. My story being a single mother of 3, and the book itself in Spanish is called Nuco Sola. And we went over there, I spoke in the awesomeness of God, how he just moved. It was just, I will always remember that moment. And just the being in ministry itself, more so women's ministry, that's where I feel like God is leading me to the women, as you know. It's just so much that we go through, and we get to a point in life where we just feel like we're tired and we want to throw in the towel. But I'm here to challenge every woman out there that I've been through it. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I had 3 kids. I was on welfare, Section 8. God brought me through. Every time I felt like giving up, God was giving me that extra push. And then I would look at my kids and say, you know what, there's so much more I want to offer them. I can't do it being on welfare. And I went to school, got my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I work for LA County Probation. I love what I do, and I do what I love. But most of all, just watching you growing into such an awesome young woman, just blossoming, and you fulfilling the dream. And when I say that I envy you to the part where you're just making it happen. You got out there, you went, and you don't look backwards, you just go full throttle. And because of her, this is why this event is so big, is because the work that she had put into this. And I just want to say, as your mother, I'm very proud of you. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me, but I'm just proud of you for all that you've done and all that you continue to do. So my book is coming out on ebook, because she's going to make sure I get out there. And it's called Never Alone, but it's by Lolita Quattlebaum and Nuco Sola, in Spanish. So look forward to it. It's coming.
All right, and I'm gonna be looking forward too.
Yes.
And so there we have it. Let's talk about it with Raheem Mitchell, and we'll see you soon.
Let's talk about it.